Ranj, can we explain what mitochondrial depletion syndrome actually is? Because only 16 people in the world have been diagnosed.
Well, mitochondrial DNA depletion syndromes are a group of extremely rare conditions that affect the mitochondria, which are the power cells of pretty much every cell in our body. And when those organelles are affected, your cells become depleted in energy. And it affects particularly those parts of your body that are reliant primarily on the energy, such as the brain, the nervous system, your muscles. And it has devastating widespread effects. Any parent that has got a child with a mitochondrial condition will understand how awful some of these conditions can be.
Is it by degrees? Is it worse in some cases than others?
Yes, so there are lots of different types. Some of them are very, very rare, such as Charlie's condition. Some of them affect you at different times of life, but pretty much all of them are progressive and pretty much all of them are life-limiting. The sad thing is, despite almost 1,500 reports and research looking into different types of treatment, we don't have a good enough treatment yet.
So there is no evidence as yet that any treatment out there would work or give him any sort of quality of life. The thing is, and I think this is where the crux of this problem happens, is that at some point somebody is back in medical history has always been the first to have that bit of treatment that might change something.
Yeah.
So where there is hope, you can understand why everybody is finds this very difficult.
This is a heartbreaking situation for everybody, including the professionals that are involved in his care and the parents that undoubtedly love him and would do anything for this child, as a lot of parents would. The difficulty is when you're faced with these rare conditions that 20 years ago we wouldn't have been faced with these dilemmas, but now we are able to keep these children alive, to give them these options. You start now having these discussions about whether we should do things and what hope there is and whether that hope is realistic. And that's when you have to look at the facts. And that's why I always say, look at the facts. By all means, it is important for everyone to take his parents' views and opinions and hopes and dreams into account, as we should do. But when it comes to really serious and rare conditions like this, we also have to take on board the medical expertise that Great Ormond Street have treated hundreds of children very similar to Charlie before and have experience and expertise in doing so. World experts have commented on Charlie's condition and said that this experiment, it's not a treatment, it's not an established treatment, this experimental therapy has either zero to negligible hope of helping him.
But once again, you have the papers that reporting Art Stopanen, his son. He said if he was born in the UK, he'd be dead. Had 2 months to live. Similar condition, same name, and as you've said, you know, there is a sliding scale here of how serious it is, but given only 2 months to live, could only move his eyes, had the treatment, now moves his hands, his fingers, his arms and his feet, and his father says he's a strong and happy boy.
Yeah. So this...
Any parent's going to want that at
absolutely,
any cost.
Absolutely. We must remember, we hear about the conditions where treatment has been successful, but not all of the instances where it's been tried and not been potentially successful, or other families that have been affected and are in a different situation.
I've got to stick my neck out here and say, as a parent, and I mean, I've done a lot of work for Great Ormond Street, and they are astonishing in the world.
Incredible work.
But as a parent, I'd say I want the choice. Yeah. I love that baby more than you do. Absolutely. And I want that choice to do what I want. And if it limits their life, then maybe it benefits a life in the future. Exactly. But I want the opportunity to try and save my baby.
And I think we all completely agree with that. The difficulty is you've got to weigh up the chances of this being beneficial. And when Great Ormond Street's job is to advise parents and say, look, this is the best of our opinion and knowledge. This is what we think is best. This poor little boy is unfortunately, sadly dying in the middle of all of this. And what we've got to think about is, could offering him a treatment, an experimental treatment, if it's unlikely to actually help him, which is what the world expert in mitochondrial disorders thinks. If it's unlikely to help him, including the doctor that was offering it, doesn't think it's going to help him, but has the potential to cause him pain, distress and suffering, is it fair to do that? Is it really fair when your chances of hope are negligible? And that's the kind of decisions we have to face, and there's no winner in this situation. Everybody has the best interests of this child.